Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mystery Room. My name is Mystery Gamer X. Today, I am not alone in this review of Godzilla. I am joined by my favorite goober that lives. I can I
The
can
links.
I can speak. Okay, that lives. He doesn't leaves. He lives
Yes,
a few minutes
of
from
course.
here, but he's not present here. He is the Gooberino Prime IMG.
I am G. How are you, everybody?
All right.
Hope you're having a good time.
Hopefully, they're having a better time than us with this goddamn heat. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. Uh,
No, the weather is not.
no. We're here to talk about a movie that we were supposed to watch a couple months, weeks ago. We didn't get to watch it. Now we did. So it's a bit of a
It
late.
finally, it finally happened, bro. It finally happened.
Yes.
It had to happen.
Well, eventually, before the goddamn movie went out of theaters. We're of course talking about the king of the monsters himself, Gojira. Godzilla.
Long live the king.
Oh, hail to the king. I killed Mufasa. Oh, wait, no, that's not the one.
Wrong movie.
Wrong movie. That one isn't out yet. Um, but yeah, we finally saw that Godzilla movie. It was something. Wouldn't you say?
It was definitely something. I wouldn't. I thought that it was gonna be worse than I actually saw what it was. It was actually better than what I thought it was. I went with low expectations. I don't know about you, but I went with low
I think I
expectations
went with
for
a
that
little
movie.
bit higher expectations, considering that mostly the fans, at least some of the fans, were somewhat happy with how the movie turned out. At least the audience was a little bit more receptive than the critics. The critics were the ones who were pandering the living hell out of the movie.
Well, yeah, it has a lot of flaws, but the monster fights, oh, that's where the meat is at.
Oh yeah, that was definitely the best part of this movie. I remember that when we saw the 2014 one at your house, I specifically think that I criticized the lack of Godzilla specifically and of fighting and all that.
Well, yeah, that definitely was the weak point of the first movie, and in this movie they just went overload with monster fights in this one. Though I would have wished that they used the entire 17
I
monsters.
mean, they can't.
Though I know,
Come on,
yeah, of
bro.
course they
Come
can,
on,
they
they
can.
can't do that. This ain't Avengers, bro. This ain't.
I mean that there was a scene there that was pretty close to it.
Oh yeah, I think that it's been 2 weeks since the movie's out. I think that we can talk spoilers. I'll just put a spoiler tag and all that, and in the video say that it's gonna contain spoilers. Yeah, that scene where the helicarrier and the other. I mean, what other name can we give it? Because Monarch is technically Shield. Um,
Yeah, they're
basically
definitely shield.
basically
They're
trying
definitely shield,
to create an Avengers of monsters.
and they have a helicarrier in the form of a B-2 bomber Spirit,
And that's why I
and
have
they
you. That's why I have you in this review because you know more about all this, these ships and planes and all
hey,
that stuff.
I like my planes.
Oh, I know. You're a big Ace Combat fan, so I know that you know. I know that you know that I know that they know. Well, they don't know, but we know that you know.
They will know.
They
They
will
will
know
know.
eventually. They will. You will learn. You will.
No, but seriously speaking, yeah, Monarch was basically Shield, and they had their entire organization. Well, basically, this was Winter Soldier. If you remember Winter Soldier, it was when Shield was going down overboard. And in this movie, Monarch started really in a really tough spot with the government breathing down their necks.
Mm-hmm. Which is also a part of the whole Shield thing because they don't operate a specific under a specific government. You know,
Exactly.
Same with Monarch. I've always hated the whole fact of having like the government lead these organizations that are trying to. Some of them work for the world. Some of them work for their own gains, as we saw in this. Some of the people inside of the Monarch organization aren't necessarily doing it for the best interests.
Well, essentially, they do have the best interest of the world in their minds, but the governments, they just, if they're not making money, they're not there.
Yeah,
Plain and simple. If they're not making money, they're not there. And with this, the governments don't have anything to gain. Well, basically, like they mentioned in some point in the movie, they said that they could use these monsters as weapons of mass destruction,
exactly.
but they didn't know how to control them. Well, that plays on the other part of the movie, but we will talk about that later.
Yeah. Let's since we already talked about the briefly about the fights, but let's talk about the humans in this. What do you think about the humans in the movie? They were uh, they weren't they. I personally don't think that they were horrible. You know, I was expecting much worse from what a lot of people were saying, but they weren't horrible, but they weren't great either. None of them were, except for Ken Watanabe. None of them were really memorable. Oh, and Grunkle Stan.
I will call him Leonard as well.
I will call him Grunkle Stan because he literally just looks like Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls. His last name is Stanton as well, so yeah, to me he's Grunkle Stan. He was just a pun machine, a joke machine, but he wasn't annoying.
No, no, he wasn't annoying, and he was the comedy relief in this movie. He actually did a pretty good job at that. As for the other humans, yeah, I would say that Dr. Ling was actually the other character that I would take aside and to say that she wasn't annoying and she was pretty spot on. And basically, she was the student of Ken Watanabe's character.
Yeah.
I really don't know his name. It's a
No,
Japanese name.
yeah, it was a Japanese name, and honestly, all of these characters they had just names that you would probably forget in like an hour or so. They're not the main focus of the movie either way.
It's, exactly. They are just there to say, well, to bring exposition to the
Exposition,
movie.
exactly. That's
To
in all of these monster movies and the Transformers movies, the humans are always just the exposition. They serve no other purpose. And that's probably my
exactly.
biggest critique of all of these movies is that we're there for the goddamn monsters and for the big robots like in Transformers case, and not for the humans. We get enough humans every day, you know. Um,
Oh, I wish I would have less.
ex-
That's another topic.
you and I both. But yeah, humans besides Ken Watanabe and Grunkle Stan, I think were pretty meh. They weren't horrible, but they weren't.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised at how not that much to do Millie Bobby Brown had to do in the thing, except for basically the last act, where she took the Orca device. Because she was,
Yeah.
I think that she was heavily advertised in the trailers and all that, because she's very big because of Stranger Things. So
Well, yeah, but you know how I mentioned at first when I saw her character, I was like, aha, she's in cahoots with this bad guy. And basically, her character, the way her character was written,
that's the
it
mother.
was, yeah, I know, but oh, that's the mother.
Yeah,
Sorry, we're talking about
the girl.
the little girl.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm here playing a game as well as doing a review.
God
Sorry,
damn it,
people.
G. You do you,
Wow,
whatever. Yeah.
it happens. No, but in her case, she didn't have many lines. The girl didn't have many lines. She didn't talk much. But I believe that she was the emotional glue that kept the dad and the mom together. And basically, she just served as the motivation for the human characters to be there. Because for the human characters, it was either that or destroying the monsters. Really, that's what their only point was in the movie.
You know what
But she,
my problem probably with her was that I was expecting them to do a stupid thing like in Jurassic World 2. Remember how the little kid in that one turned out to be a clone hybrid or something, or a dinosaur or whatever hybrid thing? I was kind of when she touched the ice that Ghidorah was in. I was half expecting her to just half expecting
you
like
were you were expecting her to have the ability to communicate with these monsters through the power of her brain.
exactly something like that, something stupid like that. But thankfully, thank God they didn't go that route, because I was like fearing for my life. I was like, God damn it, don't do this, don't pull a Jurassic World, please.
Oh, if it would have had happened, I guess that I would be like, yeah, sure, why not? Bring it as well. Because this movie is filled with so many stupid moments that you just want to facepalm yourself. But basically, yeah, I would have. It's better that they didn't do something stupid with her like that. And yeah, the advertisement for her was pretty heavy instead of focusing on the monster. Again,
Exactly.
it's
No, it,
it's one of those moments when you say, yeah, uh, they're promoting the monster but using something completely unrelated to the monster. I don't know. I see it that way.
also the very heavy influence of the military again. Uh,
I
I,
believe that at one point I told you advertisement for the U.S. Army. Here
yes,
it is.
and I immediately replied to you saying this was. I think that this was directed by Michael Bay or something. Although no, if it were Michael Bay, it would have been like, how long was this movie? Like 2 hours, I think. It would have been.
Yeah, no, it was like 2 hours and 10 minutes
It
of
flew
course.
off fast. I think it didn't drag along or anything. But if it would have been Michael Bay, he would have had like 2 hours of just the army, uh, throwing themselves in parachutes or something. I don't know. You know, the his own.
His own way of promoting the army.
Yeah, he has a
It's
thing.
not that we have anything with promoting the army. It's just that in these movies, the way they do it, it looks like an ad
It's
for the army.
exactly. Yeah, especially the 2014 one. I think that one had like a lot of the army in it.
Oh no 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 no!
Even
The 2014 was a military flick.
yeah, even the main character, I forget his real name.
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver. Yeah, I forget his name. I
Quicksilver.
forget his real name, honestly. Um, he was part of the army and all that. Um, but yeah, moving along to the monsters. What do you think of the we were shown more than four, but there was a focus on, actually I'd say that there was a focus like on three of the monsters. One of them I expected him to come, since we're talking spoilers, I expected Rodan to like appear way earlier in the movie for some reason. um
Well, he appeared really early, but the monster that I was kind of surprised that they drew it right there at the beginning of the movie was Mothra. I
y-
was expecting to see Godzilla first. I was expecting to see Godzilla there interacting with the humans in
well
one way or the other. But
we
then when
did
I,
see Godzilla at the beginning. We got a flashback of what
yeah,
of the
that
Batman.
jump screen,
The
that
ba-
jump screen,
no,
jump scare
no,
that they
the
did.
flashback from San Francisco, from the 2014 movie. Um, the
Oh yeah,
the whole
that.
the Batman v Superman scene of the movie, because in Batman v Superman you see like the battle of I forget, Metropolis from Batman's point of view, and instead of Superman's point of view in Man of Steel. Here it's the point of view of the doctors watching Godzilla fight against the Muto. I don't know. I think that it
Oh,
was after the aftermath of the battle, right? Did did he show up in
it
that
it
battle?
was it was I think that yeah it was the aftermath of the battle because I think that Godzilla was actually going back to the sea.
Hmm.
You see him walking back to the sea,
Yeah.
but in
Yeah, because it
before
was
that,
when they showed that flashback, it was the daylight, and in the 2014 movie, that whole battle against the Muto was basically at night, which is one of my problems with these movies is that all of their fights seem to be like either in during the night or during a heavy storm, and you can, I mean, in the theater you can
you can
see
tell
you
you can tell time.
you
You
you,
can tell time with them.
you can see the monsters, but it's like very cloudy.
Exactly.
It's not like in the daylight or something, which I don't. I think that
Yeah,
uh
but on that specific scene, you can see Godzilla quite clearly because it was the battle was over.
yeah.
But if my memory serves me right, I believe that it was morning the day that when the first movie ended.
Hmm. I barely remember the first movie. The first movie was very forgettable for me. It really didn't do that much. I think that this I like this movie way better than the 2014 one.
Oh
Uh,
no, no, definitely this one is a better improvement of the first one, and the main improvement is the monsters.
exactly.
Really,
No signal was detected. Please check the
What the
power
hell?
off.
sorry, that's my TV. That's my TV talking.
Jesus H Christ G. Anyways, yeah, this one gets to the monsters a little bit faster to than the 2014 one. The 2014 one, it wasn't like till 1 hour in that you actually saw like the not the scales. What do you call those things that Godzilla has on his back? Um, the
The fins.
yeah, the kind of fin, the fins. It wasn't until the hour that you saw him. At least in this one, you get to see Mothra and then Godzilla a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
Still a lot of
exactly.
exposition in the beginning. Uh, I think
A
that
lot of
yeah, there
exposition.
was a lot of exposition. That's probably the main problem with this movie is that it's very exposition heavy for I don't know. It
But then again,
was
again, it's the only purpose the human characters are there for is to give you this exposition because
exactly.
everything that they explain from the mythology to the lore to why these monsters, and then the big surprise, King Ghidorah is not from Earth.
Yeah, unfortunately I already knew that coming into the movie. I was waiting for them to actually say it during the movie. I don't know in which review that I saw. They had mentioned it that Ghidorah wasn't like one of these Earth Titans, but was instead an alien.
Uh, yeah, but the way that I came into this movie, I know a little bit about Godzilla because I saw a few of the classic movies, and it was they did a dub version of the Japanese movies
Hmm.
here in the United States, but it was one of those movies that you see on TV at night, and you like, oh, it's a Godzilla movie, let's see it, and I saw it,
On the
and
Sci-Fi Channel, which you love to see on Sundays when there's crappy movies all day.
hey, when you have nothing to do, go to the channel.
Well,
No, but
at least you know a little bit more of Godzilla than me, because the only Godzilla movies that I've actually watched are the 1998 one with Matthew Broderick. That's a lot of
that's a
fish,
lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish.
and the 2014 one. I haven't seen any Godzilla movies. I know about Godzilla like in general from because of I think that Godzilla is general knowledge at this point, even though it doesn't have like this. It has its
It's a
hardcore
cool thing. It's a cool thing.
yeah, it has its hardcore fan base, and everybody. If you say Godzilla, everyone knows what a Godzilla is. But I don't think that people
Exactly.
know much about the mythology of Godzilla. Beyond that, beyond knowing, oh, this is a Godzilla.
Exactly. But I know about Godzilla because besides that classic movie that I saw, I also saw the Cartoon Network
The
cartoon.
cartoon, the one based on the 1998.
Yes, that thing.
But I think that the series was better than the actual movie. I think that I only saw like one episode or two. I just
Oh no, no. My problem is not with the series; it's with the movie.
yeah
The
yeah.
movie per se it doesn't show you anything, especially the nuclear fire
Mm-hmm.
that Godzilla breathes. In the cartoons, Godzilla actually breathes fire,
Mm,
and he fights all these types of giant robots and stuff like that. Maybe that's what they're planning to do with the subsequent movie. I know that there's a lot of talking and rumors that Kong is gonna be the next big thing, Godzilla versus King Kong.
no, I
But
think that at this point it's been confirmed that the movie's coming out supposedly next year, but I haven't seen anything saying that the movie uh has started production or anything. And now that this one, that King of the Monsters, hasn't uh how do you say, hasn't really done well in the box office, I'm starting to fear a little bit for it. Uh,
maybe they'll release it because they were already working on it. Maybe that's what that maybe that's was their original idea first. But then, of course, if they would have done that first, King Kong versus Godzilla, they would have to explain the other Titans, and that will be another case of a lot of exposition.
yeah. I'm looking here and it says that, yeah, it supposedly initial release March 13, 2020 for Godzilla versus Kong. Um, so it's the other way around. It's not Kong versus Godzilla like I thought it would be. Because the original was King Kong versus Godzilla, but now it's going to be Godzilla versus Kong.
Makes sense why I read that in the old movie King Kong was the one who won.
Yeah, and if you notice, they are not using the name King Kong yet. So it
No,
I think that
they're using Kong.
I think that in what I told you in the theater, uh, yeah, Kong is maybe gonna win this time again, and he'll then become the king of the monsters, and then he'll be called King Kong. Um, that's my theory.
Maybe,
But hey,
maybe.
that's just a theory, a Kong theory.
No, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing that in the movie they maybe they ran out of budget or time or what was it, but they show you a lot of the story on the headlines that they show you when the credits were rolling.
Yep.
The headlines of the newspapers. In one of the headlines, and I remember it correctly, they discovered another egg. So that means that Mothra is not
Yeah,
dead.
yeah. I was thinking the exact same thing, that the new egg was also Mothra. I mean, if I they killed her off, and was a little bit disappointed by that. But if they make like they can get another Mothra, then hey, I'll be good. Although I think that all these monsters, they just regenerate over time, so
Well, I think it was established pretty well in the movie because of the way that they revived Godzilla, which was Ken Watanabe's character moment to shine.
his sacrifice, which apparently that's an homage to the original Godzilla movie. Apparently, um, I'm not very sure about that, but that's what I had read. Yeah, and
Speaking of that scene, that lost city that they were in.
Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Disney, get on a live action remake right this instant.
Yeah, sure, they're gonna listen to you.
Yeah,
No,
they
but
better. I've been saying good things about Aladdin, so
no, but they went through this entire city, and that's the first thought that it came to my mind, and it came to yours as well, because you and I think that we both said at the same time, oh, I think that they are Atlantis,
I mean,
and
I think that it's just common at this point that we see an underwater city and we immediately think Atlantis. Even if it's not, we're just gonna call it Atlantis because
Well, Atlantis.
Exactly. It's a ruined city underwater. What else do you want?
Exactly. Well, although Aquaman might have a thing or two to say about that.
And it's Warner Brothers, so they can do a crossover if they want.
Not sure how it would have worked, but okay.
you,
No,
you know what
but
would have you know what would have worked great? The Rampage movie. The
oh brother,
the crossing over those ones with the monster universe. Like that would have been that would have been great. Also Pacific Rim, also Power Rangers. Let's bring it all together, man. Let's just make one. Let's just all make love together.
you just wanna make a sancocho here and bring everyone
Of
here,
course,
and you just want to go again like Ken Watanabe's character.
let them fight. Of course, I just want to see the Avengers Endgame of monsters. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun.
Well, that's another line that we drew a lot in the
Oh yeah,
in the theater. Right?
Def-
It was many moments of that you would say let them fight or fight. Uh, uh, Also,
I mean there were
going back to the
there were 3 fights between Godzilla and Ghidorah. Not one, not two, 3 fights.
three, three
It was
fights
like
and
round 1, fight. Round 2, fight. Round 3, it's the final. it's the last round. It was like a goddamn fighting game with 3 hour rounds.
it was Mortal Kombat with the 3 round system.
Basically, because beheading.
Speaking of round two, and yeah, that's one of the biggest problems that I had with the movie. Being a sci-fi guy, I know a lot about science fiction and all that. Well, I'm not a professional with the science fiction and everything, but I know a lot.
Yeah.
And they brought on this theoretical weapon.
The oxygen bomb.
Actually, the oxygen bomb. It takes up all the oxygen in the entire area and kills every living being.
Yeah, and we saw the aftermath of that. That all of the fishes that were around that area were dead. So who are the real monsters here? The monsters or the humans?
The thing is that how long have they been developing this kind of weapon? I mean, it's
They didn't
kind of
they didn't
implied
mention
that-
it at the beginning of the movie. They just from fight number 1 to fight number 2, they just decided to, hey, we have a weapon that can suck the oxygen and all that. We're gonna use it now.
Exactly. At that point, I thought that they were going to use a nuclear bomb, and when they say the missile is already going towards you, but then the general appears and he says and he explains what type of weapon they're using. Immediately, I just went like, "This is Halo again." He said,
But they knew that they couldn't use a nuclear one because that just powers up Godzilla, and they wanted to kill both Godzilla and Ghidorah, which they ended up just killing Godzilla, or not killing him, but wounding him severely.
"I'm killing all those fish."
That's a lot of fish. A lot of that fish.
A lot of dead fish.
Now that I think about it, those fish, I think that those were the fish that they used in the 1998 Godzilla movie.
Hey, but budget cuts. No. Overall, the monster combat is great, and all humans are just there to bring you exposition. Ghidorah, in one of the reviews that I saw, they mentioned that there was a part where the two heads on the side were bickering or something, and the head in the middle was like cut it off or something.
No,
like
it
that.
was the one in the middle that was bickering with the one on the left.
Exactly, but they said in that review, I think that they mentioned it. It was something that it was constant. I didn't saw that.
Yeah, it was
Yes,
just like
I-
one time and nothing else. Like at fight 1. After fight 1, it didn't happen again. I didn't see. I was expecting a lot more because I've seen like memes and all that and drawings of of like the two serious dragon heads and the one on the left being all goofy and whatnot. Ooh. And I was like expecting that, but it was just like one time and then nothing. Like speaking
Yeah,
speaking of kind of disappointments, Rodan was which I'm gonna start calling Starscream because that son of a bitch changes more of allegiance than
oh, he's just there for the highest bidder, and for the king, he's there for the king who is it, and he doesn't care who it is.
I think that you rolled your eyes when he like bowed down to Godzilla at the end.
I did roll my eyes because you see this idiot that sees a new king, just boom, he's
I mean, Rodan was like I said, I thought that he would be introduced like earlier in the film. Like I thought that he would be the first Titan that we would see. Like they would wake him up, and then that's why Godzilla shows up to fight and whatnot. But no, he was introduced like way later, even after Ghidorah.
But yeah, you were saying Rodan, he appeared way late in the movie. I think it wasn't that late. I think it was in the middle of the movie that he appeared. But now that you jog my memory a little, the classic movie that I saw was actually Mothra and Rodan versus Godzilla or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, there's like 20 plus, almost 30 plus movies of Godzilla. Like Godzilla
Oh
versus
no, this is
Godzilla versus Ghidorah, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, Ghidorah versus blah 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 blah. There's just way too many movies, honestly. But
But yeah, when I saw Mothra, I thought that they were gonna show Rodan immediately, and yeah, it was kind of disappointing not seeing them there because I thought that they were gonna the egg that was gonna hatch. It was gonna be Rodan, and things were gonna get violent.
no, I
just
knew
then.
it was Mothra. If you saw the trailers, it showed it. Also, Mothra is now not a villain like in the past Godzilla movies. She's like Godzilla. Uh,
She the queen. She the queen.
She's the queen. But yeah, overall, I think that it was a pretty entertaining movie. Definitely had its flaws, especially the humans.
Oh, it has a lot. It has a lot of flaws, and yeah, it goes back to the human characters. The monsters, great. The fights, amazing. The humans, eh. That's where things get a little bit complicated.
I'm definitely very happy that we saw it on the theater because whenever it's like the Avengers Endgame part where Giant Man is walking at the portals scene where you can feel like the theater trembling.
Exactly.
We could feel like whenever the monsters like put a foot down, you could feel the theater trembling because of the sound and
Oh
all
yeah,
that. And that I told you before a few months ago. I told you we have to see this movie in the theaters because of that, because of the experience of watching those monsters fight in a big screen. It's not the same in the TV or the laptop or anything.
No, exactly. And I feel the same way about. Uh, when it's movies with fight of this scale, and by scale I mean these big fights with big monsters, you should go see them in the theater
Yeah.
first, and then if you wanna rewatch them for fun or something, you just wanna have a good time. Yeah, you can see them, but first go see them in the theater because the sound effects are gonna make the illusion come to life. Actually,
Exactly.
but overall, this movie entertaining if you look at it for what it is.
If you don't pay much attention to the humans, I think that you'll be very entertained. Although for me it was very interesting, as because that I love lore and all that stuff, and a lot of the things
course.
that they were talking about the monsters and all that was very interesting to me. It's just that they
as
were a
well, to me
little
as
bit
well.
too much exposition-y,
No, but to me as well, and I really found very interesting the way that they mix the real mythology, the Greek mythology, the Egyptian mythology,
Japanese
the Asian
mythology. Yeah.
mythology. Exactly. They brought every single human mythology here and they mix it up with the Godzilla lore and
Hmm.
it worked perfectly. It worked perfectly.
Yeah.
It was in sync. And at one point in the movie, I was like thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe this is real. Yeah. No, but
Who knows? Maybe,
overall, it's
maybe,
an entertainment.
maybe we have a giant lizard sleeping underneath El Yunque or something. I don't know.
Let me know so that I can go wake it up.
Oh boy. No. Oh. Now you're gonna be the villain of this story, huh? After you were bad mouthing the, you know who.
Yes, I know I was bad mouthing her motivations and stuff like that, but let's be real. She was right.
She was right. Thanos was right. Hashtag Thanos was right. That's the
That's
Infinity War Thanos, because Endgame Thanos was still a stupid idiot.
yeah.
um,
I cannot argue with that.
I can't I I can side with Infinity War Thanos. I cannot side with Endgame Thanos.
Exactly.
But yeah, I really liked the movie. Movie was pretty damn good, pretty damn entertaining. It has me excited for Kong versus Godzilla, even though I haven't seen Kong Skull Island, and I know that you haven't either.
No, I haven't seen either.
But every time
I have seen like a little bit, but that little bit is just like one scene. That's it. I haven't seen anything
I
else.
just know that every time that they mentioned or referenced Kong throughout the movie, I like kind of got excited. I was hoping that the after credit scene would have been just like a shot of Kong or something, like meditating, getting ready for the battle or something. Like, I'm gonna beat this fucker up. But no,
So
yeah, the
you
after
come to
credit,
me right now.
the after credit scene was that the terrorists group.
It was very interesting in my perspective because now I am thinking, how are they gonna revive him?
I'm more excited about the prospect of that. Maybe that they're gonna use, because maybe we should explain. At this fight number 2, Godzilla rips off the left head of Ghidorah.
Thank goodness.
And at the after credit scene, the terrorists that woke up Ghidorah and the other Titans, they didn't find, but they found someone who found the severed head of that severed head, remaining head of Ghidorah. Uh, so
Which, to my surprise, I think that it was impossible that people will be back in that place, judging that it was without oxygen for a moment. Anyway, that's just me sci-fi rambling.
yeah, but
Don't pay any mind to it.
maybe it was a
But
month or two later. I don't know. Oxygen may have returned or something. But I am excited about the prospect that maybe with that severed head, they either make Mecha Ghidorah or use that severed head to create Mecha Godzilla. Because if I remember correctly, Mecha Godzilla is also like, it's not fully a mech. It has like
it has a few things. It has a few things
organic components.
exactly.
It's like General Grievous kind of.
Oh yeah, that would be something. No, but seriously, I wish that they. I really, really would like that they do that instead of what I am thinking, because I am thinking that they're gonna bring genetic engineering and scientists, and they're gonna bring cloning to this. I don't think that it would work really well with cloning. I think that it would make much more sense that if they do something with technology, something like Mecha Godzilla or Mecha Ghidorah or something,
Exactly.
not cloning. Because if they bring cloning, cloning per se, it's a thing that in sci-fi it's very hard to explain.
Okay, so the
Not only is it hard to
Wikipedia
explain.
the Wikipedia here says Mechagodzilla is a mecha that first appeared in the 1974 film Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla as an extraterrestrial villain opposing Godzilla. So it's an alien, and Ghidorah was an alien. So
So yeah,
It
that will make much more
that
sense.
would make a lot of sense if they like take that severed head of Ghidorah and make it Mechagodzilla. I don't know. It would be very interesting to see what they do with that. But that is
Actually,
that that that
from here on
is
out, I think that they have a clean slate to actually do whatever they think
yeah,
would work.
but we gotta remember that this movie didn't make that much money, man. That's the problem. And you know that studios they only care about money for the most part. So we'll see what happens with this. I do think that Kong versus Godzilla is still gonna happen because that was already in the
Yeah,
work
they
in the
already got a
works.
spotlight. They already got a spotlight on that, so they have to like go through this.
Yeah, but as far as anything else after that, I think that it will be very dependent on what happens between Godzilla versus Kong.
Exactly, exactly. It will depend on that. I think that that will be a bigger movie because of the bringing. They will be bringing two iconic characters. I mean, we're talking about the characters that go like back to the 50s. I mean, King Kong is actually older. I think that he's from the 40s.
Oh no,
The first King Kong
King
movie
Kong is
actually came from.
old as hell. Like the first King Kong movie was, I want to say, yeah, either 40s or 30s.
Yeah, it was a very old movie, and uh, the premise still the same with the King Kong movies, except for the few the last two movies, I think. Yeah, they change up a little bit of what happened. They didn't bring any many much technology with it. It will be very interesting what they do because Skull Island was a frequent mention in this movie.
Yes, a very frequent mention. Like it was like name dropped a lot. By the way, 1933 was the first King Kong movie.
Whoa,
Yeah,
we're talking about almost 100 plus years here.
yeah. We're in 2019. 14 years from now, it's 100 years of Kong. So that's
Spec up a celebration coming.
that's a long time for one of these franchises. But yeah,
Ex-
I think that we should start wrapping up. I was expecting like a 10-minute video or something. We're already 40 minutes in discussing this thing.
Ooh.
But yeah, it was nice, you know, to just talk a little bit more in depth. Um, so yeah, you recommend this movie?
I actually recommend it to, but go see it on the theaters first. If you want to see it at the home with, again, be my guest. See it at the home if you want to. But if you really want to experience the if you really want to bring the illusion to life, go to the theater and see it with the sound because it brings it up to life, especially the fights.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to people who like us likes sci-fi and all that stuff. Not so much for people who have like very low patience for a lot of exposition because I mean, this one had less than the 2014 movie, but it still had some
Yeah,
very
it's
long
still
bit. Yeah, some very
it will
long
still
bits
bring
of exposition.
exactly. No, but overall, I recommend it.
Yeah,
Go see
I
it.
absolutely recommend it. It was very fun time at the theater. And please, I mean, I know that it's been out 2 weeks, but please go see it. I really want another one.
Yeah, you and me both, pal. You and me both.
Yeah. So that was our thoughts review thingy for
That was
Godzilla.
our short review.
Very short, very short, shortest review of a movie that I've done for the Mystery Room. But this was Godzilla. It said Godzilla 2, King of the Monsters in the title sequence, even though it's marketed as Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Let's just drop the two and just say King of the Monsters.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be it for this reviews and thoughts and thing. The one joining me off screen has been IMG.
That's me.
God damn it, G. You and your sounds. You and your sounds. I am quiet here. Sigue. Yeah, keep going. Yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. This is all going for the video. That has been IMG. Before some more sounds just keep popping up on his cell phone, I have been Mystery Gamer X for the Mystery Room. We'll catch you guys next time. Remember, may your hearts be your guiding key.
May the force be with you.
Always.